For today's walk, we're going to Stony Creek Metro Park. It's on the northern edge of the Detroit suburbs. This is one I've been walking for decades. It's a really nice place. The main park, there's a lake, all sorts of different outdoor sports. The Nature Center features 3 trails ranging from about half mile to a little under 3 miles. There's a Nature Center, and this connects to the Inwood Trails, which I featured on the last video. Today we're going to take a wander around. It is in the 70s in November. A rare treat that we get in Michigan here. It's nice to have shorts on for one more time. We'll see what we find today. Came in the back way today. Not a lot of people know about this one. The Inwood Trails, which I featured in my last video, off of Inwood Road by Mound. There's a little parking lot over there. They cut a path about a year ago so you can actually access the main park. It's a lot easier than driving all the way through the front entrance and having to go several miles around. And here we are at Stony Creek itself. Beautiful today. It's hard to believe it's almost winter. Just up above, there's a nice overlook. That's over by the Nature Center. We'll get up there in a minute. Have a look around. Once there was a house here. I believe it belonged to the Hodges family. It was a kind of a country home away from Detroit. Probably built back in 1920s. Small colonial. And after they donated this property, that became the Nature Center for many years. Unfortunately, today it's gone. It was replaced by a proper Nature Center type building, though it really took some of the nostalgia out of it. It's too bad they couldn't have kept the building here. for the history. Today this is what we have. More modern building, which offers a lot more space. They have classroom areas, more displays. Looks like they're closed today, COVID. Let's even get a view in the windows. Got quite a lot of this year. It's unfortunate, but we'll see how things go in the future. A little bit of a view of what they have inside. Some small animal displays, frogs, turtles, snakes. I think they even have a beehive in the summer. In the back there's a nice little room where you can see the bird feeders out beyond those windows in the back. So if you came through the main entrance, parking lot up that hill is where you'd end up. Then you just come right down here, the Nature Center, then off to the trails. You might think the electrical towers are unsightly in a nature preserve, but that's actually one of the reasons this is here. The Hodges didn't like having this come through their property. In fact, one's right behind where the house was. And they ended up donating the land to the park. One of the great things about electrical towers is that it keeps anything from developing around it. So there's a nice buffer zone there. Helps preserve more of the land even outside the park. So this is where all the trails split off when you come down from the Nature Center. If you go off to the left, you can take the short little reflection trail that goes around the pond back. The main trails here are the landscape and the reflection, or the habitat trail. Today we're going to do the landscape trail, 1.5 miles. A little bit of up and down on this one, not too bad. I like a lot of different landscape features like the hills and through the woods. Nice vernal pond in the spring. Another informational sign. If you want to read any of these, just hit pause. They update these probably every few years. Keep the information fresh. This is another vernal pond that usually fills up in the spring. This is that first vernal pond I showed you. Usually in the spring, this whole area floods. And at least some of it stays through the summer. I've never seen it this dried out before. In the spring you come through here, the sound of the frogs is just deafening. Yeah, this is really something to see. I've never seen the bottom of this pond before. Looks like a lot of footprints, probably raccoons and other small animals been in here looking for things to eat. Yeah, that whole reeded area back there, usually a lot of ducks in there. Probably not any this year. It's just completely dry. Hope we get a good rainfall or good snow cover in the winter. Fix this. You can really see why they call this the landscape trail. Just went from pond, a little bit of an open area, some rocks. We're going to be right back in the woods again. There's a little cut-through path next to the landscape and habitat trail in the middle. It's a really good spot if you're on the habitat, which is a lot longer, feel a little tired. You can cut through here. Down at the end there, you see that trash can? There used to be a hand pump well. Took it out maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Kind of a shame. It was always a great stop, fill up your water bottle. This is a great spot, about 3/4 of the way through. Usually stop here, sit down for a couple minutes, listen to peace and quiet, have some water. This area out here, field behind us, is actually a cow pasture. Many years ago. This is all back to nature. Coming to the end of the landscape trail, that's where it hits into the reflection trail. Go off to the right over a little bridge, we'll take you back to the parking lot. We're going to double back toward the nature center, back to the river. Well, that's it for this walk. Thanks for coming along. It's been a beautiful day. Probably the next hike might be snow on that one. So if you have any other parks in the area you want to see, just leave it below in the comments. See if I can get out there soon. Despite COVID lockdowns everywhere, still a great way to get out, enjoy nature. Bye now.